Namaskar and welcome to this discussion on Joshiji's book, The Bonsai of My Time, Life of an Escapist Revolutionary and Non-Conformist. That's what Ramsharan Joshi, senior journalist, educator, and activist, has named his book as. And Joshiji is here with us. I went through this whole book. I myself being a Delhi journalist who came from Kerala here, and I have been seeing Joshiji from 80s onwards. I must say it's a very eventful book, and for people to know how a generation lived and struggled to make what they are, for not only for themselves, for their professions, for their country, for the people around them. I think it's a big eye opener and a guidebook for those who wants to lead a different kind of life among the cacophony of social and personal things which we all undergo. Welcome, Joshiji, and it was extremely, I'll say, insightful and a very humanistic experience to go through your writing, which is your own experience. And I will say thank you for jotting it down and also getting it translated into English, because as I wrote in my blurb of the book, without reading the English, whatever I little know about Joshiji and his work, I wrote that. But now reading that, I feel honored to have written that blurb, because things which you underwent is I think is the real struggle of an individual to come and be a good human being, good professional, and also I think with all the limitations, a good political activist. So I'll start with the question, Joshiji, why did you decide? Because very few people write these days. After COVID, a lot of people write their memoirs and all because they had a lot of time. You did it in Hindi long back. Why did you think that you should be doing that?
VK, that I started writing way back in 2012-13 at this Boston, because I had gone there to visit my daughter, and because she was expecting. So I stayed with her for more than 6 months, and I thought that I must write. But I tell you, before that, I had written about 14 or 16 episodes of my life way back in 1999 and 2001, and contributed to a newspaper, a daily paper published from Jaipur and Ajmer in Rajasthan, that is known as a Navjyoti. These are one of the premier dailies of Rajasthan.
Okay.
So since then, I thought that I must write my whole life history, and people should know. But I tell you, because this is not my personal life. This is because man lives in a society, and society consists of the many forces. So if somebody says that this is your personal autobiography, no, it is not a personal biography. It is the story, or it is a biography of society, time through which I lived. I mean, since 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and so on. And so I let the people should know that our society and the country have passed through many stages. many turmoils, whether it is a social turmoil, cultural turmoil, or political turmoil. Because the generation of 60s, 70s, they are not aware of what sort of the hardship that our society faced, or as an individual I face.
Yeah.
So that's why I wrote this biography.
Yeah, yes, your account is not boasting about what you did or what you achieved. It's also, it gives an account of the society around, the people around, the moments you are associated, and also the power equations. Like, you were, there is this ALWAR, the ALWAR, that
Yes.
episode
I
where
I
you
born
are,
in Alwar.
yeah.
I born in Alwar. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that your early struggles,
I,
and then slowly you meeting the political people and the way they behave. Some of them, their private lives and public lives. All these things, comes out, gives a feeling that it is not about you alone. You did this, you did that. That's what generally the biography is. It's like you are recording your experience with people, with society, with this thing, and you never forget your personal thing, like the family, the father, the mother, all these things.
yeah.
That you give it a 360 angle to the your story, which is I think very rare. People does that. People tend to see everything through their prism, their achievement, they try to blot over things, which incidentally journalists are very prone to it, because I did this, because of this minister did this. I don't think if you ever did that into this thing. So in a way you kept your balance of the person you are, the society you came from, and the people you associated with. That my whole thing is people have to read it to experience it. So how did you achieve that balance? What is that inspiration? What made you do that balancing? That Ramsharan Joshi, he is writing his experiences, but his experience is not complete without his family, without his society, without the people which he interacted, without the country and its politics. That is something comes out very, very clearly on this. What made you do that? Is it your ideology, your personal beliefs, or your experiences?
You see, as I told you, that I was born in a feudal city like Alwar in 1943. So, and when I became a little conscious of my environment, then at that time the India had become in an independent country, and that was the era of Nehruvian socialism. And India was passing through a transitional phase from feudalism to democratic society. So, naturally, uh, of course, it is as an individual, I faced lots of hardship, and I witnessed or rather, I came in contact with the le- with the so much leaders who were not up to the mark, of who were not leading their life up to the expectation of Nehruvian uh, uh, ideals. You see, so I have mentioned it, but you must know that as an individual, you are nothing. But individual consists of society and country and other various forces, other conflicting forces, whether it is a social, cultural, caste, religious, and ideological. I tell you, whatever I could learn up to the age of 25 or more, a little bit over 20, I learned from my personal experiences. I was not aware what the Marxism is, what is the socialism, what is the nationalism. But whatever I learned, whatever I observed during my struggle, as a fourth class employee, or I part as you know just to earn my livelihood or just to earn money for uh, for my examination. I had to participate in a Ramlila. I mean, become a I had to perform the role of the Sita and Shakuntala, all these things. Then I got the money and I paid my fees. That was my individual struggle, you see. And at the time, I don't know what the ideology is. So, but my experiences, day-to-day experiences, taught me. And when I moved from Jaipur to Delhi in 1962, I interacted with other forces because Jaipur was a very small town in those days. Now it is a very bigger city. But when I moved to Delhi, that was a capital. And I came in contact with the other political forces. And again, and I tell you, during the time of Nehru, the first demolition of the Jhuggis, some dwellers, started way back in 1963. And I observed those incidents, how bulldozer, how the Jhuggi Jhopdi or the slums were demolished by the bulldozers in those days, in way back in 1960s. Then I wrote a play, and the play was later on staged and broadcast. So uh, through this experience, but when I became more little grow and moved from Delhi to Calcutta as a TP operator and a typist, because I was hired by Hindustan Samachar, a multilingual news agency. So when I went to Calcutta, then I again came into different set of people, different set of political environment. In those days, of course, the Congress was in power, but other forces were very much active there. Then I finally returned to Delhi, and but in 70, I started coming in contact with, you can say, socialist forces and then leftist forces. And by that time, I had become quite mature to understand the, the nuances and the variations of the ideological differences, what the socialism is, what is a Marxism, what is Leninism, or other things. Then I understand how the society be, operate, function, what are the interplay of various forces.
Yes.
So then I started theorizing, and then I started imbibing many things. And you can say, because I covered this Bangladesh in 71, and it become, I mean, just really, I witnessed the birth of Bangladesh, and I went to Dhaka and returned in January 1972 back to Delhi. So through all these turmoils and through this partition of Pakistan between the two nations, uh, Pakistan and Bangladesh, then I try to understand the interplay of various ideologies and forces.
Awesome.
Now, then I joined uh, full-fledged as an activist. You can say I became a Marxist activist, joined the labor field, became a full-time, or you can say wage earner, the whole timer.
Yes.
So I became a whole timer. I survived on a meager amount, 150 rupees from the party. What I used to get from the party.
Okay. No, but before
Yeah.
that, before you came to Delhi, I think you had a brief sojourn in Bombay. You are enamored by the Bombay
Yes.
film
Right.
world. That's very interesting portion. You know, it's like
You see, I wanted to be, you see, in those days, the three actors, especially in Hindi band, Dilip Kumar, Raj Kapoor, and Devanand,
Devanand. Yes.
the Trimurti, you can call them. They were the ideals of the young people,
Thank you.
and I mean teenage people. You see, so you can say I just absconded or Farah. I absconded from Jaipur and went to Bombay just to try my luck. And I tell you, I acted in a film as an extra. Uh,
Yeah, you
in
narrated.
those days, extra, they were not called as a junior artist, but they were extra, known as an extra. So I acted in that Hamdon that was produced by Mr. Devanand.
Okay.
Then I acted some small ads films, and I stayed there for 3 4 months, and ultimately I came to I arrived at this conclusion that that film or acting is not a cup of my tea. So I should uh, get go back to Jaipur. And but in 1963, I tell you, I acted in plays that were directed by Mr. Satyu,
Okay.
the director of the Garmava.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that in those days the Hindustani theatre was very much popular in Delhi,
Yes.
and Baba Niaz Haidar, Shamaz Zaidi, they were the known face in the capital.
Yes.
So I did in the Vishak Das play that was a Mudra Rakshas and some other
Okay.
plays.
Okay, but
Uh,
how come you ended up fascinated by the world of letters? That that is it the
yes,
struggle? Like you worked with this Sahitya, literary people and all for some time, and went
actually,
about it.
yes.
Uh, was it that influence, or what attracted you to the world of letters, writing articles? It's not, you started with drama and stories, but then you ended up with serious writing.
To be very frank, I was motivated. Uh, I'm self-motivated. You see, when I used to sell the paper as a paper hawker uh, by raising the voice, Times of India, Hindustan Times, and Indian Express play because, and I used to sell in those days. You have to you have to sell the newspapers on bicycle, but today's paper hawkers are different. When in those days the story of the paper hawkers were entirely different. In those days, I used to think. I would think that my name will be someday. My name will appear in the newspaper. You can say it's sort of the dream I used to have. Yes, I will write, and I started writing for Akashvani, All India Radio. In
Okay.
those days, Akashvani was the only
Very,
medium
yes, very
for
popular.
projecting.
Yes.
Yes, in those days. So there, in those days, the children program were very popular. So I used to visit the All India Radio, I mean Akashvani, and I tell you the actors like the Om Puri, Om Shiv Puri,
Yeah.
Sudha Sharma, Mohan Maharishi, they were the artists in Jaipur,
Okay.
and they acted in 2 or 3 of my plays. But when I moved from Jaipur to Delhi, I joined Hindi Sahitya Sammelan. Now the real story starts from here. I joined Hindi Sahitya Sammelan
Hmm.
as a messenger, you can say. And my job was to distribute the letters to various writers, playwright, or men of letters. So I thought that I should also write, become something. So you can say that after joining Hindi Sahitya Sammelan,
Hmm.
I became literary conscious. Yes, I should. But but I have written everything that in that at that time also that I had some great dream. Yes, No, I will establish a society where the no disparities, only equality is there. All people are treated well, and also this, and nobody will start. I mean, nobody will be discriminated. And there was one song I tell you, Cherian, that always motivated me, always fascinated me, even today. That song was written by Sahir Luधियानवी, and that song goes as मेरे हम नदीम मेरे हम सफर निराश न हो कठिन सही मंजिल मगर निराश न हो. Means never give up your struggle. Never get disappointed. Continue your struggle. Where is your struggle against the injustice? If you want to do something.
Yes.
So this is the case of 1963. And after joining the mainstream of the Marxism and struggle, my whole life was changed. I've seen how the JNU came into existence. I used to visit JNU as a viewer sometime in 73, 72. I conducted a UG classes there, underground classes of Marxism. Yes, you see. So those were the different times.
Yeah.
And in 72, yes, I was jailed in Jaipur. I was jailed for, and I think 4 or 5 days. I was in prison along with the other friends.
Okay.
So, but since then, I had, yes, the revolution will come, because the mother inspired me. Tolstoy inspired me, Gorky inspired me, and other writers inspired me a lot.
Okay. So yeah. I think your experiences and your Delhi, the initial days in Delhi, and then Calcutta molded your politics a lot. One can see from the book and what you say. And so it is more of your struggles, which took you to these cities, which molded your political philosophy and social philosophy and attitude to life, which you keep saying about scientific approach to things with your family, with your personal stuff. And even when, there are incidences of your mother and father passing away, you say, that family issue where you insist that a Dalit must be there, and so that is very, very. I feel, given the background which you had, I'll say that can only come from a very, very committed person, which is very amazing, because everybody else is telling, why are you doing this? But you keeping that torch of rationality and equality to that level, which is which is again a study in itself. So because you came from a very, as you said, feudal background, but ends up in that situation where you say that when your mother or father died, that Dalit,
father died.
Yeah, Dalit person.
He died in an accident. He made an accident. I think he was. I think in Jaipur he died in 1963. He met an accident.
Okay.
I think Tonga accident something.
Oh.
And mother died quite late in 1980.
Yes.
By that time, my life was totally changed. I got married in 1978. But you are right that you have to maintain the balance between your personal life, your family life, and political life. But one thing I must admit, that after joining or coming back to mainstream journalism, I think in 79, because I had joined the Nai Duniya, the daily paper, premier daily of Madhya Pradesh. So they appointed me as a bureau chief in Delhi. So I I had become the bureau chief after rejoining the mainstream journalism. Then my life little bit changed. There was a deviation from the activism to professional life. I mean,
Yes.
journalism.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
before that,
I remember seeing you there. You had a lot of, you had more hairs than hair in your head, and I always thought that as a young beginner, and I came to Delhi in 1980. I'm beginner in INS. I always thought you are a very serious person, a scholarly Panditji, whom I can't relate. That was my impression, first impression about you. Till we actually began to interact in Samaja, which after 10 years later, this
right,
was
right.
neighbors. So that again, how did you survive all these things in journalism? You keep talking about people, trying to uh, trying to trying to change you, trying to upstage you in your office, complaints against this, that, and everything. That should have been another struggle, surviving in mainstream media in Hindi with your kind of attitude.
Vicky, you are right perfectly, but trust me, whatever I have written in my autobiography, that you can say about 99.9% truth. I did not or I never compromise with truth. And again, you trust me that I was very fortunate that my proprietors and editors like Rajendra Mathur, they never asked me to give up my ideological commitment. I think you would wonder to know it that for uh, almost 2 years, the security clearance was not given to me for the accreditation from
Yes,
PIB.
the police clearance. Yes.
IB refused to give. Because I was in misawarranty. Again, I would like to remind you during 75, though I was not arrested, my arrest warrant was kept in abeyance because of uh, my personal friend, committed friends like B.N. Ugandhar, Dr. V.D. Sharma, and all these, D. Bandopadhyay, even P.N. Haksar, because I had a good contact with them. So uh, I had to take a shelter in Bastar, Madhya Pradesh in those days. Bastar used to be part of Madhya Pradesh. I was not arrested, but on on a very short notice, I was just externed from Bastar within a few hours.
Okay. Hello.
My committee bureaucrat friends
That's
in
yeah.
National Labour Institute as in charge as or urban research, rural wing, as a researcher of rural wing. And I tell you, Raghunath Reddy, the Minister of Labour in those days, he helped me a lot, really.
Okay.
Though he was a cabinet minister, and he told me, Joshiji, now you are joining the system, except teaching violence, you do everything what you already you had been doing, except teaching violence. Then because it will create a problem for us.
Yes.
And
That
we will
that
provide
that
all facilities.
Joshi, that
So my ideological commitment, just my ideological commitment, my proprietors who are basically a Congressy background, and uh, lot of pressure were put on proprietors and editors, Rajendra Mathur. So no, he belonged to a ultra left ideology. Why you are appointing him as a bureau chief? But then they asked the Congress MPs and others, look, whatever is ideology. But whether he tampers with your news, whether he plays with your news item or not, how is what sort of the reporting he does? Then that Congress leaders, some of them you know them, very prominent leaders. I do not want to name them. No, he is very honest, truthful as far as the reporting is concerned. Very objective. Okay. And views are his. Whatever he writes in his article, that is a personal ideological business.
Hmm.
But he is not distorting the facts when he drafts the news. You see, those were the days.
Okay. Okay. But this happened. Your meeting with Raghunath Reddy happened during emergency
Yeah.
or just before it?
Just actually during the emergency, last phase of emergency. Last
Okay.
phase of emergency. Emergency
That's
was
very.
not lifted, by the way.
I
The
know.
emergency was not lifted.
Yes.
And
That's very
because
interesting because.
he was the chairman of the National Labour Institute. He asked me to join it.
Yes.
You see, yes. He had
Because
a half an hour discussion with me.
okay,
Yeah.
this is again because you wrote about the condition of bonded labor in Madhya Pradesh. That is where it
Yeah.
all triggered, is it not?
Right. Right.
Yeah, but
I
then
wrote, and
Dr.
even I wrote in the EPW and Frontier,
Okay,
Link and the Patriot.
yes,
Then
that's
in
very well.
the Zinman.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it is almost like a personal campaign which you did, and the government noticed that, and they thought that you are the right person to even address the issue from the government side.
Yeah.
That is a great honor, in fact, by the
Yes.
system,
Yes.
that here is somebody
Yeah.
who's actually committed to the cause, and he put him in
Yeah.
charge so that he can do things. But
Right.
another thing is Dr. Sharma. He's an expert in
B.D. Sharma.
yeah, B.D. Sharma. So he is considered as an expert in the government about the affairs of the
He
tribals.
was the Joint Secretary Home. He was the Joint Secretary Home looking after the tribal affairs
Okay.
during the emergency. Yeah.
So which means that he was keeping a close watch on your activity.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This thing. That's why he trusted you, because he could feel that you are sincere
Yeah.
about your writings and the facts in the writing. You should have checked it. That's why, they decided to employ you there, which is
Yeah.
very, very rare. These days it
Oh
doesn't
yes.
happen. So this
Yes.
is all
Very.
cadre. Somebody is doing it for somebody, and some research is financed by somebody. But here, so I think the world was also different then, I must say.
Yes. Right. But it was entirely different. I tell you.
People
And
were
I tell you
real.
one thing.
Yeah.
You see, why I was not arrested, that Mr. Om Mehta, who
Yeah.
was a state home minister during Mrs. Indira Gandhi, he was apprised of my background by B.D. Sharma and Haksar and all that.
Yeah.
Then, okay, we won't arrest Mr. Joshi. And so long as he doesn't teach the violence or commit any violent acts in Bastar, we won't touch him. But why I was thrown out of Bastar? Why? Because Sanjay Gandhi and along with his wife Menka Gandhi, they wanted to visit Bastar. Then within a few hours, I was asked, please,
Okay.
now we can't help it. Delhi is putting, IB is putting a lot of pressure on collector. You know who was the collector at that time? Mr. Pradeep Bajal, the
Oh,
elder brother
yes.
of our, yes,
Yeah,
the
he
lieutenant
become
governor.
TRI chairman
Yeah,
and retired.
Pradeep Bajal, he told me, Joshi ji, because otherwise I will have to put him in jail and the food is not good in Jagdalpur. In Jagdalpur jail. So please, I provide you the safe passage to Delhi. Nobody would touch you.
Yes.
And I safely returned. This
Okay.
is the story. So
Okay.
right from the state home minister, Om Mehta, even Mrs. Indira Gandhi must be knowing all this, must be in know
Yes.
of this thing.
Yes. Yeah. I think Joshiji, let's conclude this first portion. Let us upload it, and now I think we must next episode onwards we must go live, maybe next Sunday. Some more details, because the world is different then, and you are living in a new world today. That how do you look at this old world and the new world vis-a-vis your experience and the way our world, our country is going? I think that will be a great lesson to learn from you for the viewers and the readers of your book, because your life is an open, you have kept it open for others to study and go about it. So let's do it in next week as a
Okay.
live Facebook program. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.